I think my passion for agriculture and farming and ranching and being around the agriculture way of life came from my father and my grandfather. They both treated me like I was just as capable as anybody else. They never thought that I was a girl and couldn't do anything. They always believed in me, and I really appreciated that. But the lifestyle that they lived was one that I knew I wanted to be part of from a very early age. Leave it better, I think, would be the motto that I would choose for my life. There's a lot of things that you can choose to leave better. You can leave relationships better than you found them. You can leave people better than you found them. And I hope to leave this operation better than I found it for my kids. Usually my mornings start, I try and get up and get around before everybody else does. That's the only quiet time I usually get. So I try to spend a few minutes just in prayer and working through kind of my devotional reading for the day, but then feeding everybody, cats, kids, dogs, me. And then our hired guys come in and I get them lined out for the day on what kind of needs to be taken care of. Trading off duties with the kid with my mom, and I can do office work, take care of billing, take care of running parts to people that are needing parts if they left without it. The license plate on my car now is Farm Uber, and I kind of feel like that some days, that it's just you go where it needs to go, and whatever shows up, you take the call and go for it. The biggest challenge we have faced has definitely been the loss of knowledge. Losing my dad at 15 really shaped me because I lost all of that knowledge. A lot of people that farm with their parents or grandparents still have the ability to lean on their knowledge that they have learned over their lifetime. And then my grandfather passed away while I was still at Oklahoma State studying. That was over 125 years of combined experience on the farm that just died. Overcoming that, faith. By far, I have to lean on my faith daily, because otherwise it would be way too much to bear. But I have a strong relationship with Christ, and that has definitely been what has got me through some of the hardest days of my life. I try to shine a positive light on agriculture no matter what I do, and I hope that I do that in all aspects that I'm involved in, whether that's here on the farm or in other organizations. My biggest accomplishments would probably be ways I've represented our farm. My husband and I currently serve as the state chairman for the Oklahoma Farm Bureau Young Farmer and Ranchers Committee. So we lead our state committee and direct activities and programming for young farmers and ranchers in our state to help them get plugged in with general farm organization like Farm Bureau. We've served on that committee for 5 years, and this year we're chair. We represent Oklahoma everywhere from Oklahoma City at the Capitol to Washington, D.C., to meeting with legislators and everywhere in between. For legacy, I just hope that I leave it better than I found it. I've inherited a tremendous amount of blessings from my family, and they have left me with a wonderful start, and I hope that I can continue to leave that better for the generation that comes after me. One of the coolest things innovation-wise on our farm that we use is one that my grandfather invented, and he was an inventor at heart. But one thing that he invented that I still see the fruits of today, even on our operation, is he created a flexible shaft shearing machine that replaced and innovated the way that shearers today shear. Back in the 80s, he thought there had to be a better way besides a straight shaft shearing machine that was hard on shearers and the sheep being shorn. So he worked and came up with a way to overcome that, and formed a flexible shaft shearing machine that he held the patent on for several years, and then allowed the patent to lapse so that the technology would be available for many people to put to use. So without his innovation, I don't know where that would be. It's cool that he had a big hand in that. One of the biggest things that I would like to see our operation do going forward is to put ourselves in a position where we can grow. There's a lot of farmers and ranchers around us that will retire in the next, I would say, 10 to 15 years, and not all of them have people coming in behind them to take over their operations, which leaves a gap of who's going to farm that land. I hope that it stays in production agriculture, because I see the value of production agriculture in our area and what it brings to our community. However, if there's nobody to take up those reins, then that kind of lets it slip. So I would like to see us get in a position where we can expand our operation to the neighbors that are retiring, whether that's taking over lease ground and working on their property, or whether they decide to sell out and retire and go somewhere warmer. Whatever that looks like for them, I hope that I'm in a position where I can continue to grow our operation. With all of the changes in agriculture, I think it's important to be plugged into what's going on. One of the biggest things for us comes back to our involvement in Farm Bureau and on the Young Farmer and Rancher Committee. When something comes up and they see something coming for agriculture, they send out an action alert, and it allows us to contact legislators and stay on top of some of those items that could be detrimental to production ag. So I think specifically for us, being plugged into an ag organization that can help do some of the legwork to stay on top of those things, or to even just encourage us to be innovative with new technology that's coming up is so incredibly helpful for us, and it allows me to be in more than one place when I can really only be in one place at a time. I would say, I remember when my grandfather bought the first guidance, which actually came from Livingston Machinery that he purchased, which was kind of cool. But I remember when guidance came to our farm, and I was in high school when we brought it into our farm. So we may have been kind of late on the adoption. I'm sure it's been around a lot longer than I give it credit for, but I would say where it's at today is a totally different ballgame than where we were at 10 years ago or 15 years ago. And to see the progress that guidance itself has made in our operation, it makes it so much easier to do just simple things that you used to think about and crane your neck around and have to break your back to turn around and watch where you're going. And so I remember when it was not near as simple of a time as far as guidance, and I'm appreciative for the technology that has been used in our operation. So for me, I know farm transition like the back of my hand because we've gone through it in multiple times and multiple generations. So if I had unlimited resources, I would plug them in with the farm transition resources that I know of to help people prepare for that. It's not fun to talk about. It's not fun to plan for the worst and know that someday that's going to happen, but it is going to happen. And if I could help those farms transition, I think we would have a lot of farms that would still be in business instead of the gates closing. Success is hard to define in our operation because I feel like we're in a growing period, and it's hard for me to see sometimes because I'm right in the middle of it. Our faith has been a huge part of why we're successful, because I know God protects us and He has watched out for my family in many ways, and I'm very thankful for that. A lot of it is just being willing to go through the hard part and just being able to press through and press on and know that there's a plan, we just gotta get there. Community involvement is something my husband and I are trying to really make a focus, because I want my kids to see how important it is to be tied in, not only to our Farm Bureau family and how we serve in that capacity, but also our church family, and just being there for the FFA kids that are selling blue and gold sausage or whatever that may look like. Your community is all around you, and if you leave your gate shut and kind of just stay on the farm, it's really easy to do that, but you miss out on a lot of really great people and a lot of relationships that are very valuable. One of the neatest things that I've been able to be a part of to help young people coming into agriculture was an event that Secretary Blaine Arthur had put on at the governor's mansion, and she called it Ag Her Culture. And so she had young high school and college age girls come in and just get to network with other women in the industry and to learn from them. I hope that my presence there shows other girls who are looking at agriculture as a career field to go, well, she can do it, so can I. Because I had tons of people who believed in me. I had a dad and a grandfather who thought I could do anything in the world, but not everybody has that, and I know that, and I want to be that for other girls. So events like that I can help encourage that next generation of agriculturalists coming up, I love to be part of those things, because I think it's important that they see girls can do it just like everybody else. If I could tell the next generation any one specific thing, I think it would be to plan for the worst, but you pray for the best. And you pray that no matter what happens, God will protect you, because He will. He will guide you and be there every step of the way. And it may not be easy, but in agriculture, I think you have to have faith. Otherwise, it's hard to see a field full of miracles and not believe in something more than just yourself. It's hard to just be the only one. So for me, I have to rely on something else. The Manitou would be definitely something our guys would be excited about. The irrigation business, we put up new systems and service systems, and right now we do that with a boom truck, with a knuckle crane. The guys have used telehandlers before and they always think they're neat, but it's not been something I've been ready to just jump into. This would be a really neat opportunity for them to get used to that type of equipment in our field, and I think it would be a perfect fit. It's such an honor to be nominated for Producer of the Year, because my husband and I have really worked hard to make this operation better than what it was when we found it. Whatever that looks like for us in many different aspects, I hope that we leave it better than we found it, and we produce something that is respectable and helpful for the next generation going forward. Being nominated for this award just gives us a little bit of encouragement to keep going, to keep doing the work, to keep striving to be better, because it does make a difference and people do notice. It's nice to be recognized for that, because sometimes it's hard to see when you're in the middle of it. I'm Brittany Hukill from Hydro, Oklahoma, and I'm a finalist for Producer of the Year 2022.